Have you ever had a friend you've trusted for nearly 20 years? Someone who stood beside you through your biggest milestones? Someone you considered family, only to discover they were willing to destroy your marriage for one of the most selfish reasons imaginable? Because that's exactly what happened to OP. And trust me, when Doha finally reveals why she lied, even OP couldn't believe the real reason. Let's get into it. So OP is 29 years old. She met her best friend Doha when they were both 11 years old after moving to a new country. Over the years, they became inseparable. They survived school together, adult life together, relationships, major life events, everything. Even after growing up and developing different friend groups, they remained incredibly close. The kind of friendship where you assume they'll be in your life forever. Now, OP is married and has a 2-year-old son. Life is busy. She works during the day, balances family responsibilities, and occasionally travels for work. And sometimes during casual conversations, she'd mention upcoming work trips to Doha. Remember that detail, because it's about to become very important. One week, OP was supposed to travel for work on a Wednesday. But the night before, a severe weather alert was issued. The trip was canceled. Instead of traveling, OP stayed home with her husband and their son. Her husband briefly left early in the morning to secure his business because of the weather warning. Then he came right back home. And both of them spent the day together. Simple enough, nothing unusual. Or so they thought. A few days later, OP and Doha attended a gym class together. After class, Doha approached OP and said, "We need to talk. In private." Now, pause for a second. If your best friend suddenly says that, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Bad news? A secret? A problem? Well, OP had no idea what was coming next. The two women walked to OP's car. And then Doha dropped a bombshell. According to Doha, she had seen OP's husband making out with another woman. Not only that, she claimed OP's 2-year-old son was sitting in the car while it happened. Think about that for a moment. That's not just accusing someone of cheating. That's accusing them of cheating in front of their own child. A marriage-ending accusation? A friendship-ending accusation? A family-ending accusation? And Doha wasn't presenting this as a rumor. She was presenting it as a fact. At first, OP froze. Then something clicked. Wait, Wednesday? The Wednesday? The weather emergency Wednesday? The day she never traveled? The day she spent at home with her husband? Suddenly, the story made absolutely no sense. So OP started asking questions. Are you sure it was this Wednesday? Doha said yes. You're positive? Yes. 100%? Yes. 3 times. 3 separate confirmations. And instead of backing down, Doha doubled down. She described the woman. A gorgeous blonde. A Barbie look-alike. She described the location. She described the weather. She described the car. She described everything. The more details she gave, the more convincing she sounded. But there was one tiny problem. None of it could have happened, because OP and her husband were together all day, at home. The moment OP pointed that out, Doha suddenly changed her story. Maybe she got the day wrong. Interesting, because just moments earlier she sounded completely certain. What would you be thinking at this point? Would you believe it was an innocent mistake? Or would alarm bells be going off? Because for OP, something felt very wrong. She told Doha to leave, and Doha practically ran away. Now, here's the part Reddit found hilarious. Even though OP knew Doha's story didn't make sense, she still went full detective mode. She searched the house, checked devices, checked emails, looked for hidden accounts, looked for secret phones. Basically conducted a full investigation. And after all that searching, the only secret she uncovered was that her husband listens to paranormal podcasts. Imagine expecting evidence of an affair and discovering ghost stories instead. That night, OP told her husband everything. His response? Immediate cooperation. No anger, no defensiveness, no excuses. He handed over his phone, told her to check the car, check whatever she wanted. Because according to him, there was nothing to hide. So together, they decided to call Doha. And this is where things got really strange. Doha answered on the third attempt. She was crying. OP asked a simple question. Why did you lie? Doha insisted she wasn't lying. Then she suddenly claimed she had confused Wednesday with Monday. Except Monday didn't work either. Their son had been in daycare. The timeline still made absolutely no sense. OP calmly walked through the schedule. The daycare, breakfast together, the timing, the logistics, and every version of Doha's story completely fell apart. Eventually, OP's husband stepped in and basically told Doha to stop the nonsense and tell the truth. Doha apologized, hung up, and then blocked both of them immediately. Now, if you're thinking things couldn't get stranger, you're wrong, because they absolutely did. Mutual friends started asking questions. Nobody knew what was happening. People confronted Doha. She blocked them too. Someone contacted her mother. Even her mother was shocked. At this point, Reddit started throwing out theories. Maybe Doha secretly liked OP's husband. Maybe she was jealous. Maybe she wanted attention. Maybe she wanted OP single. Maybe she loved drama. Honestly, most of those theories sounded ridiculous. But somehow, the real answer was even worse. A few days later, Doha's mother arranged a meeting. OP agreed because she wanted closure. And after a lot of questioning, the truth finally came out. Ready for this? Doha admitted she lied, not because of a crush, not because of drugs, not because of mental illness, not because she actually saw anything. She lied because she was angry. Angry about a girls' trip. Yes, a girls' trip. Apparently, OP had missed 2 annual trips, one because she had a newborn baby and another because of work obligations. OP also planned to spend an extended period abroad later in the year, which meant she'd miss Doha's birthday and several winter activities. And Doha hated that, so she came up with a plan. According to her own explanation, if OP believed her husband was cheating, OP would leave him. But because they shared a child, custody arrangements would limit OP's travel, meaning she'd be around more often, meaning she'd be available for girls' trips, birthdays, and activities. Take a second to process that. A grown woman attempted to destroy a marriage, break apart a family, and potentially traumatize a child because she wanted more attention from her friend. Honestly, this is where the story stops being about cheating and starts being about entitlement. We've all seen friendships struggle when people enter new phases of life. Marriage, children, careers, moving away. Priorities change. Healthy friends adapt. Unhealthy friends resent it. Some people don't want what's best for you. They want access to you. And the moment they lose that access, the friendship changes. The most upvoted Reddit comment summed it up perfectly. She wanted you single so you'd be available. She wanted drama. Maybe she wanted your husband free. Maybe she was simply jealous. Whatever the reason, she's not your friend. And after hearing the truth, most people agreed. OP immediately ended the friendship. No second chances, no reconciliation, no rebuilding trust. Just over. And honestly, after hearing the real reason, can you blame her? 20 years of friendship destroyed over jealousy and attention. That's a hard thing to come back from. So now I want to hear from you. If a friend of nearly 20 years deliberately tried to convince you your spouse was cheating and later admitted they did it because they were upset you missed a girls' trip, would you ever forgive them? Or would that friendship be over forever? Let me know in the comments.